Good morning. It's Dr. Cindy Stark here. Facebook is changing some things, and I need to make sure that this is actually working to go live. Okay. Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Cindy Stark. How are y'all doing? Facebook just changed some things, and then I switched some things up today. Going live every single week in my Facebook group called Reclaim Your Health and Life. And I've been doing that every single Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time since July 20th. So I have about 15 videos over there. If you guys would want to go over there and check it out, I will actually link a an invitation to go over there and head over there and check out my past talks over there. But I've been talking about everything from state of healing to self sabotage, all the different ways that your subconscious mind interferes with your ability really to live the life that you want. Hey, Deanne, yeah, I was going to say, everybody that's in here live, if y'all can just write a hashtag live, and if you're catching the replay, if you can write hashtag replay and tell me where you're tuning in from. I would love to know where you're coming from. But I have a Facebook group of 300 people, and I decided to come in today to my personal page with 3,300 people just to tell you guys a story about something I went through yesterday as a doctor. I don't think we doctors are really great at being patients, but I had to be a patient yesterday. And just wanted to tell you some things I've learned and some insights that I have gained and some reflections that I've had from just going through that whole entire process. And I just really think me sharing this with you in real time and also as a doctor, as a patient myself, I think it could really help you try to live the life that you want to live so that you don't have to go through kind of like what I went through yesterday. So anyway, over in my Facebook group, you'll find things about childhood trauma and how childhood trauma is stored in our subconscious mind and how it can actually wreak havoc on everything from your mental state to relationships to your actual physical health and everything in between. Okay, I also talk about triggers and boundaries and people pleasing and perfectionism. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Donna. Hey, Pat. It's so good to see everybody. Thank y'all for finding me over here on this page instead of in the other original page that I normally do these Facebook Lives on. But my name is Dr. Cindy Stark. I practice medicine here in Gainesville, Georgia. I'm a hospitalist with Longstreet Clinic, and I take care of all the patients that have gone through surgeries and inpatient rehab. Hey, Michelle, and hey, Brenda. And I take care of all their medical problems to get them in tip top shape or as much in tip top shape while they're healing up from their surgery, and then also get them back into the hands of their primary care physicians and back into their regular life as quickly as possible. So, I'm going to talk to you guys today about the origin of disease and how that stress in our minds and stress in our bodies can actually set up a cascade of genetic events where genes are turned on abnormally, and our body is designed to do this. But the way that we can actually reverse it is just to create a lot of intention around what's going on in our subconscious mind as a default that we don't even really know about. All right, so again, I talked a little bit about this last week. I'm just going to rehash a little bit. Okay, so short-term stress is okay. We were designed, every single one of the living creatures were designed to go through some short-term stress. It's how a gazelle will, escape attack by a lion. The gazelle sees the lion, the heart rate goes up, the cortisol level goes up, and it sets this emotional chemical in their bodies to affect a behavior and move and get away from that lion and survive. But what happens is you know our bodies, and I just wrote down a list, and I sure hope this is for my people that are visual learners. Stress in humans is not just trying to get away. Hey, Jenny, trying to get away like a gazelle getting away from being attacked by a lion. Stress in humans, look at this list I just came up with in like 20 seconds this morning. Some of us have marital stress and other kinds of relationship stress. COVID has caused a tremendous amount of stress in Americans. We're afraid for our very lives, and what it's done to the economy. We have stress from our jobs, stress from traffic, and the commute go to go to our jobs and the traffic and the environmental toxins that are all in the environment. Our kids can cause us stress. I don't know how many of y'all are parents, but I have a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old, and the amount of activities that our kids are in these days, let's just say it seems like they're in about 4 activities every single day, all day, every day, all year long. But back when I was a kid, we were only allowed to do 1 activity a year. So just having all that stuff on our to-do list every day, and the processed foods that we're eating right now, and fast food being at an all-time high right now. A long time ago, even in my own life in the 70s, we always had to make our own food. And now it's just the stuff they put in food is just for preservatives and for taste. And it's stuff that our body was never meant to interact with. It literally causes cellular damage. And then social media and just trying to compare yourself to everybody. And that can lead to so much spending of money and time on things that don't really matter to you. Well, all this is causing stress all the time in our subconscious mind. It has an effect on us. And if we're not aware of it, we actually we're not even aware that we are causing problems in our body, and it can lead to disease. And I'm going to tell y'all about that. So the subconscious mind, it defines everything about us. It's 1,000 times more powerful than our conscious mind, and it's full of gestalts. Okay, these are emotional baggage. It's fear, anger, sadness, guilt, shame, belief systems, all these environmental not environmental, but emotional baggage that are in there. And what happens is when those gestalts fill up, and we don't regulate our emotions, 2 things can happen. Either you spill over the emotional gestalts. Just imagine like putting water into a cup and then it just spills over. And you get sick, which is what I'm talking about today. Or you can revert back to the very first time that emotional baggage ever started filling up, like when you were a kid and you got angry, or when you were a teenager and you started getting sad. And if we don't, as humans, devote energy to clearing out these emotions, you are going to express a disease. I mean, that's just that's a genetic fact. And what will happen is that everything that you are not willing to work on, it will manifest itself in some kind of problem later in life. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or morbid about it, but it's just the truth. It's American Medical Association has deemed 80% of diseases in the human body are due to one thing and one thing only, and that's stress. So what happens is the trapped emotions are due to the traumas, okay, that we've experienced all in our lives, and it puts our nervous system in high alert, anxious state, and that will set this cascade of events that will wreak havoc. Like I said, not only in diseases, but also in our relationships too. So what I tried to just basically again write out here so y'all can follow me is thank you, Melissa, for joining live. Hey, Melissa. I'm getting everybody to say where they're joining live from. I know you're in a really cool part of our country. I would love for everybody to see where you're calling in from. But our trapped thoughts and emotions and negative beliefs that are getting stored in our subconscious mind, that leads to stress and cortisol being produced. Like I was saying, how the gazelle gets to run, from the lion to prevent getting attacked. That same exact stress and cortisol also can lead to inflammation. I'm talking specifically about diseases now. And then pain. And what happens is this is a maladaptive stress reaction, okay? It's how our bodies were designed to act. And what happens is if we have inflammation and pain, all right, it's like every single piece of connective tissue in our body can go through a hardening almost. And you think about it, in hardening of the arteries, it can cause arthritis. It can cause stricture, which is what unfortunately I was diagnosed with yesterday. I want to talk to y'all a little bit about that. And then also it can cause cancers. And what happens with doctors, so let me just tell you a little bit about what was happening with me. So I've been suffering San Juan Islands in Washington. So awesome. I never even known there were San Juan Islands existed. And this friend of mine is up there for like a month, just enjoying the most beautiful sunrises and sunsets I've ever seen in my life. So So back to what I had been suffering with. I did not realize that I was doing anything wrong in my life. I just was living the American dream, having becoming a doctor, getting married, having kids, and I didn't realize that I was not taking care of the emotional gestalts in my subconscious mind, and I had never even heard of this. And I was stuffing things down all the time. Any negative emotion I would feel, if something wouldn't happen immediately to solve it and to get me help, I would just stuff it down and act like it didn't exist, okay? And what had happened is I kept not listening to my body over and over again, not getting help I needed, not speaking up for myself. And it set up this cascade of excess cortisol, excess acid. I had a doctor friend of mine ask me, exactly how did you get a stricture? I said, I don't claim to be a gastroenterologist and I don't know the exact pathophysiology about it, but I'm just here to tell you that's what my gastroenterologist told me. So what had been happening, and it's been going on for 16 years, and I just sought treatment. I finally spoke up for myself and gave myself the treatment that I needed. But and I'm still suffering some of the effects of it. I have a very sore throat right now, so excuse me. If a lot of you have been to a lot of my lives, I probably have a lot more energy than I have this morning. But I've just been through a lot over the past 24 hours. So just have grace with me, and thank you for your patience while I bring a little bit of a different energy to the live today. But what had happened is that the cortisol, the sheer amount of cortisol that my body had been kind of getting bathed in, caused this severe inflammation in the bottom of my esophagus, and I was almost clamped down to I think normal is 20 millimeters. I was scarred down to 8 millimeters. So food was getting stuck way, way, way deep down right before my stomach, and it was just it was rearing its ugly head literally to the point where I had to go get it taken care of. But what I realize now is the source of all of it. Okay, so that doctor can do one thing, and he did yesterday. He dilated my esophageal stricture, which is like a narrowing. It's just a definition of a narrowing, an abnormal narrowing. Doctors can go and cut out your diseased arteries, right? Doctors can go in and get rid of all the pathologic tissue that's in your back with all the patients I take care of every day of my life. A lot of them have had back surgeries and neck surgeries. But if you don't change all this stuff upstream of this, all that's going to happen, all right? So the doctor goes and he or she gets rid of right here. They act right here, down right before the actual pain has caused you to seek treatment. And if you rely on a doctor and only a doctor to dilate your esophagus and cut out your abnormal backbone tissue and cut out the tumor, and you don't realize that there was something that happened like decades and decades ago that you could actually affect a change, then you're just going to keep living in this cycle right here and thinking that a doctor is going to be the one to take care of you. And a bottle of pills is the answer to your problem. And a knife or a balloon is the only thing that's going to give you relief. And I'm just here to tell you guys, because I'm living through it right here and right now in real time. I'm so thankful for that doctor, and he dilated, my stricture, and he's going to have to go in again in a month and dilate it again because it was just too narrowed down to fix it in one shot. Okay, but if I don't change something up here at steps 1, 2, and 3 that probably started literally at age 7 years old, these maladaptive stress reactions, I'm going to be right here in this same position, and I'm going to be getting this procedure done every, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, every 3 to 6 years for the rest of my life. And I'm going to be reliant on a bottle of pills. And don't even get me started about how I feel about the medicine he's put me on for a couple of weeks to get this. Hey, Jana. Jana's coming in from Denver, Colorado. I love Jana. I don't even, again, I know I'm being very specific about esophagus and stomach acid and all this, but short-term medicine to get rid of my stomach acid, the Prilosec over the counter, that's fine. But long term, that's going to wreak havoc even further downstream and cause problems in my gut bacteria. So I will be coming in and sharing with you guys anything, if anyone even cares to know all the details about how to have gut health. I have a 12-week transformational health program, and I devote an entire week and set of modules to nothing but maintaining, getting your gut health rehabilitated and all of your gut bacteria. We're much more bacteria than we are human tissue. If you don't get a hold of all the different bacteria that are in your body to make you vibrant and healthy, then you're missing the whole entire picture of what human health is. So anyway, what I'm going to share with you guys is daily and weekly and monthly habits, all right? And I hope y'all can read this too. Rest and meditate. Again, we Americans, we just go, go, go. That's all we ever do in our lives. We never rest. In fact, I actually used to get in trouble for resting. And so I am trying to make myself rest so that my body can heal from what I had done, yesterday at 11 a.m. And then I'm going to have to go through it again, on December 1st. And we have to rest and relax. We don't have to beat ourselves up over that. Also emotional clearings. In my 12-week transformational health program, it's completely reclaiming our mind, body, and soul. And every single bit of our soul and our body starts with reclaiming our mind. And there is a tried and true method. It's called Matrix Therapies, and I'm certified in it. And we teach that in our program. You go through all the different emotional clearings, get rid of all that emotional baggage so that all the restoration to being whole and healthy and healed starts way back here in the subconscious mind, so that it is firing off all of those signals that make everything in our body work the way that it's supposed to work, so that the inflammation doesn't get to a point where you're having to go and get, put under general anesthesia and get dilated. Everything is healthy and just percolating down at a much, much healthier pace. Or if I don't change anything in my life and I just keep going like I have been, like I said, that same inflammation is going to happen again a few months from now or a few years from now, and I'm going to be going through all this again. And most of the people in America think that that's what we have to do. Rely on a doctor, rely on a psychologist, rely on the treatments, rely on the bottles of pills. And I'm just here to tell you that that's not what is necessary for healing. Every single bit of it is within yourself. You just have to get aligned within yourself. In my transformational health program, we go through clearings to get rid of all the different negative effects that people, places, things, events, emotions, and belief systems have caused. And when you get to resource everything in your body and get to reclaim your subconscious health and literally rewire it from the inside out, then you set up so much self-trust. It's a healing that you yourself and you do. It's between you and God, and no one can take that away from you. And you can get yourself righted back to center on a daily basis, weekly basis, whatever you need. And it would be my pleasure. I will drop a link down below to book a call with someone on my team so we can talk to you to see if you're ready to get healing from the inside out and to devote that time to get rid of all that emotional trauma that's in our bodies. That's really, it's running the show of your whole life and you don't even realize it. But it will be my pleasure and my honor to talk to you about how to get that started. Otherwise, just go and join my Facebook group, Reclaim Your Life and Health, and at least get some training every single week on how to get a hold of the power of your subconscious mind. Okay, so I just wanted to go a little bit more into your subconscious mind and what it does and why it is so important to master it. Okay, so the subconscious mind, it is responsible for two things: surviving and procreating, and then also seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. And what I have learned through my years of research and through getting certified in Matrix Therapies is that if all we are doing, if we don't realize how to actually run the subconscious mind and we are just over here seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, we can do it in ways that cause more problems than it was intended to, okay? Where we get involved in people pleasing, perfectionism, and all that was just for one reason and one reason only. It's because it's the way our subconscious mind was developed, okay? But when we can actually master how the subconscious mind works, and then you realize that all the thoughts in your body create emotions, and the emotions create behaviors, and you can actually be the master of all of that in your life, then you're in a completely different body, okay? And, people think that they're born with the genes that they're born with. Well, I'm here to tell you, I also have a PhD in genetics, and there's something called transcription and gene replication. And what we have to do is realize that the thoughts and the emotions and the beliefs that are going on in our subconscious mind can actually turn genes on and off. And if you want to start replicating perfect, good, healthy cells, you have to start way up at the very beginning, okay? And get everything right up here in your brain so that we can start replicating and reproducing perfect cells instead of just reproducing disease defective cells. That, there's things that are not just due to traumas in our own life, but they're generational traumas, and some wounds that have happened way back even in your parents' generations when they were young, especially belief systems. It got passed on to you, and then you can let that wreak havoc in your own life. And then if you don't get a hold of this, you can actually pass it on to your kids. And I don't know about you guys, but there is almost nothing that I feel more passionately about than making my kids not have to suffer the way that I suffered. And I think that in general, right now in America and in this world, we're in a period of awakening where we are realizing just how powerful we all are, and we don't have to just sit here and accept the status quo and think that just because something was like that last week or last month or last year or last decade that it has to continue being like that. So to me, there's nothing more exciting than to really rewire my subconscious mind to get the life that I want, so then I can show it to the younger generations and to the younger children, and teach my kids right now how to maintain their physical and emotional well-being and health. So does anyone have any questions? Y'all can drop any questions in here and ask me any questions. I hope this is all making sense. I have a lot on my mind today, and just a lot of thoughts, and I've just been doing a lot of reflections onto just how I have not been taking care of myself. It was not intentional. I think that I was just trying to take care of my kids and my house and my patients and my job and my mom and my sister, my brother and my dad. And I just, hey June, I just was not realizing the things that I wasn't doing to actually not take care of me. And I just unintentionally got sick. And now that I'm on the road to recovery, I can see little tiny things that I can do that are already leading to just so much more calm and relaxation. And one of the most important things that I've done is surround myself with a community of men and women that support me and that make me realize that it's okay to rest sometimes, and it's okay to sometimes you're in a season of growth and sometimes you're in a season of rest. And it's not that you're being lazy, and it's not that you're a loser, all these different things that I used to think. And the people that are the healthiest in the world are actually, I don't know if any of y'all heard about these groups of people. They live in blue zones all around the entire world, but they are people who have really strong community and who walk a little bit every day. It's not the people that live a really long, healthy life are not the people that, take off all of one entire food group out of their diet, and they just surround themselves with like all this technology and all this stress, and they never get out in nature. It's exactly the opposite. And it's and I've just learned for me, myself, and I at age 52, that's something that's just more important than ever. And it's just my pleasure and my honor to come in here and bring you guys just really life-changing, just truth bombs that I think that I'm in a unique position to give, because I unfortunately see in my job, up to 20, 30 patients a day of people that just are living way down here on this opposite end, right, guys? They're just full of all of this, and they're having to seek the care of the health system and of surgeons, and thank God for the surgeons, and thank God for my endoscopist yesterday. But we have to realize that we can go way up higher and start affecting a change and get ourselves so much healthier. We don't, and even after we rely on these wonderful surgeons and doctors like me too that will get you back right, then just know that it's the power of you. All the power to be healthy is completely within you. Don't rely on us, and don't rely on bottles of pills, and please don't rely on knives and scalpels, because that is not fixing anything. That's just fixing so you can't feel the pain anymore, or can't have the symptom anymore. The thing that caused all of it in the first place is still going strong unless you learn how to change this in your mind. And it's so simple, but yet nobody knows how to do it. And that's why I developed my whole entire program just to teach people how to do it. And it's a very high touch program. I know we need a lot of help to completely do things differently than we've ever done before. And I have a whole team of people that help hold people's hands and just lead them into a completely different state of their life. And after we do rewiring the mind, then in my program, I also teach you how to rewire your soul and your body too, mind, body, and soul. June is saying the power to be healthy is completely within you. Yes, that's amazing. I think that's what I just said. I think you're quoting me. And yeah, Jareen said she's lost sight of herself too. I know, Jareen, it's so easy to do. We just stop thinking about what all we're doing in our life and how it affects our body. What I think we do as Americans, and especially women, is that we just think about how whatever we're doing is better for somebody else. I mean, I know so many times I've bought food that was very healthy, but I just went and ate something more unhealthy because it was what was better for somebody else. And you just don't even realize that just how food can be medicine too, and how it can completely change your whole entire energy level and your ability and your emotional stability on any given day. It's just we engage in so many different behaviors that if you would really stop and think about it, just have some intentionality around it. Mindful eating, mindful spending of your money, mindful spending of your time, and just think about it. Is this what I'm about to put into my mouth, or what I'm about to do with my time right here, or what I'm about to spend my money on, or even your thought life? Is this thought what I'm having right now? Is this good for me and my brain and my body? And if it's not, then just don't do it. And I know that's hard. It's much easier said than done. And again, that's why I have a Facebook group, so that we can go in there and love on each other and just help each other on this path to wholeness. But guys, it's been my pleasure and honor to talk to you this morning. Excuse me. I'm kind of running out of steam, so I'm going to end it here. But I love each and every one of you. And it's just my, way back when I was 22, I said I wanted to cure cancer. And that's why I went and got an MD and a PhD in molecular genetics. And now, that has morphed from little age 22 Cindy to age 52 Cindy. And what I just want to do is I just want to help everybody realize how healthy you can be. You don't have to be sick. You don't have to have, diseases and different pathological things that have happened, like what I just got diagnosed with yesterday with this esophageal stricture. Life doesn't have to be that way. And if you have found yourself in that way, just know that, the doctors and the surgeons and the pills, they have a role and a place, but the power to really affect long-lasting change and long-lasting healing is within yourself. And that's what I teach. And that's my passion for the rest of my life, is just to help people how they can know how they can get themselves healthy again. But I love you guys. I'm going to drop links, like I said, to either book a call with me to see if you're really ready to affect this change in your life and ready to do the work. Or if not, that's fine. Just come and join my Facebook group. And I'm going to do these Facebook Lives in this big group here for a few weeks. And then I'll be probably going back over to my Facebook group. We'll see. But it's been my pleasure to connect with you guys today. And I hope everybody has a great day. Take care.